We're going to discuss an article entitled Better Communication Equals Better Teams. And the article's purpose is to examine miscommunication or unclear communication between groups, specifically between small groups. And so, what we learn is when vague words or unclear words are used within groups, it leaves an area or opportunity for misunderstanding or confusion. And this relates to our studies in different areas, but specifically around group socialization. When we study group socialization, we learned that it is really the study of the interaction of newcomers within a group and how they align with the group's culture, norms, values, etc. But not only that, the definition continues to really examine how the group changes or adjusts with the norms and values of the newcomer. So as we walk through the article, Better Communication Equals Better Teams, we'll examine how the study took place, which is several small groups were interviewed and asked a series of questions around miscommunication as far as terms that are used around time and probability. And that is dealing with the issue of time, whether you say ASAP, meaning as soon as possible, or tomorrow, later today, or next week. So according to the article, those are very vague terms and not something that you should use when you're trying to clearly communicate within a group. The next area is around probability, utilizing words that are vague, such as always, usually, and things of that nature. So the group that was studied were asked to engage with their groups utilizing those terms, and it was found that there was a lot of areas of gray and a lot of misinterpretation of vague terms as it applies to time and probability. And so when you interact, when you take that learning and align it with what we've learned in our course readings, the one that stood out to me is the socialization process that has the 5 phases: beginning, anticipatory, assimilation, and let me find the other one. Anticipatory, encounter, assimilation, and ending. So when I look to see which one would probably be impacted most as it pertains to miscommunication, I look at the beginning phase. So for example, if whoever is creating the group and they're talking about what are the goals and the plans of the group, and they want these goals and plans finalized soon, then the individuals in that group wouldn't necessarily understand what soon meant. So in order to use proper communication, they could say we would want the plans of the group finalized by tomorrow at 5. So that's an example in the beginning phases how it could be confusing if you use vague terms. As far as the anticipatory, encounter, and assimilation phases, those also could be impacted when miscommunication takes place. So the results of the study basically show that you want to be very specific in your language to make sure that the team understands, and when the team understands, that they are more aligned, and therefore the results of the team are more effective. Another piece of the article that stood out to me was putting the results of the study into 4 sections, and we'll call those the 4 C's. And the 4 categories were coordination, clarity, cooperation, and consciousness. Under the category of coordination, it was really talking about the length of time. So instead of saying, let's meet tomorrow, you would say, let's meet in the library at 5 o'clock. Another area was clarity. So one of the examples was one of the students used, instead of using a vague term with her roommate, she would say, instead of saying, can you take out the trash soon? She would say, will you please take out the trash tonight? Continuing with cooperation, one of the examples was used, and it really talked about how in a particular group, the definition of these terms mean very different things. So when you're looking to have a group to cooperate, you really need to use specified terms instead of saying, we can get together sometime tomorrow. You could say, let's get together in the morning at 8 for coffee at Starbucks. And then the last area, which is consciousness, the results of the article really talked about how the students learn to really pay attention to the words that they use, not only in their face-to-face communication, but also in their written communication as far as text and email. So the discussion questions that I would like to pull from this learning are, number 1, what role can miscommunication play in newcomer socialization? And provide examples how miscommunication can influence group communication and socialization. The second question is, how do the 4 C's, coordination, clarity, cooperation, and consciousness, aid in effective group communication as it pertains to group socialization? That's all. Thank you for listening. Bye.